So, today, let's step into a dark fable. But look, this isn't some story about knights and dragons in a faraway land. Not at all. This is a story about the architecture of your own mind, a descent into the self. And right from the jump, we get this direct address, this challenge. These are the words of a character we'll get to know, the uncanny jester. And they really set the stage, don't they? This journey, it isn't about simple destruction. It's a deep personal test, a test of your own strength when you're staring an uncomfortable truth right in the face. All right, let's meet these architects of the void. Our fable gives us two main figures, the red specter and the uncanny jester. Now, it is absolutely crucial to get this. These are not your standard villains. Think of them more like, well, like existential surveyors, mapping out the wastelands inside the mind. And here's the thing. In this story, the main character is you. You are the wanderer. This whole setup, this crucible, it's designed specifically for you, to push your spirit to its absolute breaking point. It's all about exploring the resilience of the human will when literally everything else gets stripped away.
Now, these two figures, they don't work alone. They operate in this perfect and frankly terrifying synergy. Each one has a very specific job, a specific set of tools, all designed to systematically deconstruct the self.
Let's break down their roles, because this is where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you've got the jester. His method is the blight of revelation. He goes after your psychological comforts, the little lies you tell yourself. His tool, mocking doubt. His goal, to show you that the face you show the world is just a hollow mask. And then you have the red specter. He's cold, clinical. His method is surgical dismantlement. He targets your very identity, your core structure. And his tool is the ultimate tool, isn't it? A deadline. His goal is to enforce a return to the inorganic, a state of quiet, non-existence. This quote just perfectly captures the jester's whole vibe. He points out the wax fruit, those hollow, fake ambitions and comforts we all cling to. He's that little voice of doubt in the back of your mind that whispers, is this all there is? Is any of this real? He's there to show you that it's all just an illusion. And you compare that to the specter's approach, which is just chillingly clinical. To him, your emotional struggle, your desperate screams of no, that's not a sign of a fighting spirit. Nope, it's just data. It's a chemical reaction that comes right before the inimitable silence. He's not angry, he's not evil, he's a law of physics. So at this point, this whole thing feels like a really dark, really metaphorical story. But what if it's not? What if this fable connects directly to a very real and pretty unsettling psychological theory? So here's the pivot. We have to ask the question, is this just a grim fantasy story? Or are the specter and the jester maybe personifications of a real dark impulse that exists deep inside all of us? And that question, well, it takes us right out of the fable and into the world of Sigmund Freud. And there it is, Thanatos, the death instinct. See, Freud suggested that alongside our drive for life, for connection, for creation, what he called eros, there is this other, equal and opposite drive. It's an unconscious pull towards self-destruction, toward dissolving, toward returning to that quiet, non-living state. Does that sound familiar? I mean, that is the specter's goal, almost word for word. So here's the connection we're making. You can see the specter and the jester as agents of Thanatos. Their whole purpose is to make your own self, your own mind feel strange, unsafe, and, well, unhomely. Freud actually had a term for this feeling, the uncanny. It's that specific kind of horror you feel when something totally familiar suddenly becomes alien and menacing. So how do they do it? How do they create this uncanny effect? Well, their main weapon is a kind of psychological loop, a haunting repetition that's designed to just grind your will down to nothing. And this whole mechanism is based on another one of Freud's big ideas, the repetition compulsion. This is that unconscious drive we all have to repeat traumatic or painful patterns over and over and over. It's a self-destructive cycle that makes you feel like you're not in control, like you're trapped by your past, and it just strips away your sense of agency. And this is exactly how the fable mirrors that compulsion. It's a perfect map. It starts with you, the wanderer, clinging to some comfortable illusion, the wax fruit. Then, step 2, the jester shows up to shatter it with doubt. Just as you're trying to pick up the pieces, the specter arrives with his deadline, the terminal shutter, forcing a crisis. And then, the whole pattern starts all over again. It's an eternal recurrence designed to dismantle the self, piece by painful piece.
But what's the point of all this? I mean, if the goal is just total destruction, it's a pretty bleak story. But it's not. We're now getting to the real reason behind this whole harrowing trial. You see, the Spectre and the Jester aren't just destroyers. They're catalysts. Their real goal is to strip away every single illusion, every comfort, every external reason for being, until you are left completely and utterly alone in a void. Why? Because it is only in that void, when there is nothing left to hold on to, that you can make a truly free, a truly sovereign choice. So here is the first option they put on the table, the logic of zero. This is surrender. This is accepting the Spectre's cold math and embracing total annihilation, that inevitable silence. The Fable even has a chilling name for this choice of self-destruction, the Crimson Gift. It's the ultimate victory for Thanatos. But there's another way, the logic of one. Now, this isn't about just finding a new illusion to believe in. No, this is about a conscious rebirth. It's about forging a new identity, a new purpose from the wreckage, based on nothing but your own will to keep going. That is the sovereign choice. And this final statement from the Spectre just sums up the whole conflict perfectly. They present you with the most powerful argument for nothingness imaginable. Surviving isn't about beating them in a fight. It's about discovering, or maybe creating, a reason to exist that is stronger, more resilient than the perfect void they're offering you. And so the fable ends. But the real trial, the one this whole story is just a mirror for, that's the one taking place inside your own head. And so the question is left hanging in the air for you to answer. When you're faced with that void, which logic will you choose?